And we continue with the show going across to Pakistan right now. We're joined by Arshad Yusufzai, who is a journalist contributing to Arab News and also covering a number of issues like security, climate change, and minority rights. Now, this comes with Pakistan and Iran discussing border security issues with regards to Afghanistan as well. Uh, Arshad, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome. Okay, we are waiting on Arshad to join us, but just to give you some context into what this discussion is the Pakistan and Iran have been having wide-ranging bilateral talks on a broad spectrum of topics. Now, this includes regional security, the situation since the Taliban has taken over Afghanistan. They are talking about border security and also at the same time reviewing a number of issues in bilateral relations between the two countries. Now, this includes political, economic, trade, connectivity, security, energy, education, and also just people-to-people exchanges. And the statement that has come out of Pakistan talking about this engagement, but also looking at Afghanistan and where Afghanistan finds itself in with regards to these two countries. Now, I am led to believe that Arshad Yusufzai is with us. Arshad, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome.
Walaikum Assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for having me on your program.
Yes, wonderful that you are able to join us now. These talks between Pakistan and Iran are relevant now. They've discussed a number of issues, but considering what is taking place in Afghanistan, and we know Afghanistan shares a border with both Pakistan and with Iran, why is this so relevant that these two countries are having these talks?
Yes, first of all, it is very important for at least all these three countries because we share borders with each other, especially Pakistan sharing it with Iran, Iran sharing with Afghanistan, and then Afghanistan with Pakistan. Pakistan and Iran have been engaged in talks in the past as well. They have been talking on many issues, but now the relevancy has increased because of what has happened in Afghanistan in August, the change of power, the coming of power of the Taliban coming into power. That has changed the scenario, particularly concerning the rebels or anti-state elements that are involved in Balochistan, Pakistan's province that is bordering Iran and both Afghanistan. It is believed widely that the Baloch rebels who had their headquarters or training centers or safe havens in Afghanistan, particularly in Kandahar and Helmand and other areas close to border with Pakistan, they are not unable to find any safer place in Afghanistan because the Taliban, as they had promised with the world in the Doha agreement, that the Afghan soil would not be allowed. Anyone would not be allowed to use Afghan soil to carry out any terrorist activities in any neighboring country or any country in the world. So it is believed that those rebels have now, or the anti-state elements have now shifted from Afghanistan, from Kandahar into Iran, because these are porous border areas. They are not well manned, not well controlled, and it is relatively easy for people to move around without being detected. So it is now believed that these rebels have gone into Iranian side, and they are carrying out attacks from there. We have seen in the past month a number of increased attacks in Balochistan, and it is believed that these are the rebels who have moved from Afghanistan into Balochistan now, into Iran now. So Pakistan is definitely trying to talk to the Iranian authorities about better border management, or at least trying to find out rebel areas, highlight these areas to the Iranian authorities, and then try to persuade Iran to work against these elements. That is one of the core issues. And second issue that I see, or second reason that I see behind these increased efforts of talks between Iran and Pakistan, it is believed also here in Pakistan and also in Afghanistan that Afghan Taliban want to have better relations with its neighbors. And immediate neighbors include Iran and Pakistan. So Pakistan and Iran might be thinking of having some joint ventures or probably having better relations because Afghanistan has access to water to sea through Pakistan or Iran. And if it is seen in a broader aspect, we know that China and Russia are the main key players at the moment in Afghanistan and in the region. And it's like, a group being formed or information where Pakistan and Iran also come into play and have an important role.
Yes. Now, I think also what is important is Afghanistan reaching out to the rest of the world. And as you pointed out, the immediate neighbors, Iran and Pakistan, have got a critical role to play because we know at this point in time, Afghanistan in a serious situation with regard to requiring humanitarian assistance as well. And who better than your closest neighbors? So I suppose that is the reason why these talks between Pakistan and Iran are critical to even address some of these issues with regard to providing some sort of humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan.
That is already taking place, but unfortunately, both Iran and Pakistan are not capable enough of helping out Afghanistan on a larger scale. So one point to support that theory is that these are the land routes to Afghanistan, and any humanitarian assistance coming through sea would be traveling from Afghanistan or Iran to come to Afghanistan from Iran and Pakistan. The problem is Afghanistan, the Afghan Taliban have sort of reduced trust in these two countries, and that has many reasons behind it. For Afghan Taliban, it's the international aid that is coming from West, from richer countries like Russia and China, from humanitarian organizations like the United Nations or International Committee of the Red Cross. So they are looking more towards that aid compared to the aid from Pakistan or Iran, because they already know, they understand that these countries can be of help, but not enough.
Yes, Arshad, unfortunately, time is of the essence. There's just so much to unpack on this topic, but we definitely will be engaging a lot more as developments take place. But for now, we thank you. We say Jazakallah to you for your time with us this morning here on Assalam Media. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Thank you, brother.
Arshad Yusufzai, journalist, joining us this morning on these talks between Pakistan and Iran, which takes us straight on to 9 a.m. It's time for us to cross over to the news. Tabile Duma at the Al Ansar studio is standing by.